Oche Awodi Foundation is a foundation that is born out of a genuine passion to care for people who are born with ectodermal dysplasia. Incidentally, a lot of people don't know much about it.
Welcome to Akweya TV, the station where we talk about history, art, culture, and development. And one of the development issues is health. Often when there is a health issue, we want to approach it by trying to rationalize it maybe from the spiritual or from different angles. And especially when rare diseases or rare medical conditions come before us, we want to attribute it to some spirit or some other kind of rationalization, explanation. So today we want to talk about a very rare medical condition. And there is a foundation based in Abuja that is focusing on this rare condition. And that condition is called ectodermal dysplasia. It's a big word, but the people who are very concerned about it and need us to do something about it are here with me in the studio. This foundation we are talking about is called the Oche Awodi Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasia. And they have been doing a lot. And we have here in the studio the founder of Oche Awodi Foundation, Mr. Kingsley James Awodi. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and the program manager for the foundation, I don't know if I got your designation correct, but Gabriel Dapel. Yes. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what is ectodermal dysplasia, first of all?
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. Ectodermal dysplasia is a genetic disorder. We have about 176 disorder, which causes the child or the person living with it not to sweat. Their sweat gland is not functioning, and they have scanty hair, and their teeth also doesn't develop normal.
Wow.
Yes.
So they can't sweat?
They can't sweat at all.
How does the person feel?
That is why people living with ectodermal dysplasia, most of them, each time you see them, they will keep pouring water on their head, especially because that sweat gland is not there to regulate the body system. Okay. So they are always suffering from that, and that makes them not to relate with every other child freely like that. Like my own son, each of the time that he's going to school, we give him a hand fan to support in case if the school fan is not sufficient for him. And with a towel, we talk to the teachers that in case each time that he's complaining, they should try and help him to dip the towel and rub in his head.
When did you discover this in your child? Is it just as soon as he was born, or?
No. We when we gave birth to him, I think the very day that we gave birth to him, after discharging us to hospital, we discovered that his skin started changing, his body started changing greenish. We have to rush him to the same hospital in Kubwa. Then they refer us to units, and the office clothes. They were thinking it was jaundice. They treated malaria, all manner. We were there for like 2 weeks and we were discharged. But he kept on today crying, tomorrow he will get himself. And because of the the ectodermal that because the body was not regulating that heat, he stopped sucking breast at the age of 3 months or so. Yes, because normally if the child sucks, he sweats.
Yeah.
Each time he's sucking, he cries.
Yeah.
And because of that challenge, he stopped sucking at the age of 3 months. So, and based on mother's experience, my wife kept observing him. Each time he cries and she carry him and bath him with cold water, he will stop, so he will calm down. So because of that, before the age of 6 months, she said we have a basin that will drop him inside water and he'll be playing with it and he'll be fine. So we kept on till there was a lady that when he was 2 years getting to 3, saw him because he doesn't have a teeth and his hair was not growing well. And when she saw him, she said we should take him to Garki General Hospital, meet one Dr. SM, which we went. And the moment the man saw us, he told me and my wife that we should go home and Google ectodermal dysplasia and come back.
And go and Google and come back.
Yes. So
how did you feel?
We just said okay. So when we went back home, my wife and I we Googled and we started seeing pictures of people living with same cases. We saw the resemblance and we said, wow, so this is what has been happening to our child, because our child is with you. The next moment, his body temperature will be up. We'll be on our way to hospital. And then in Kubwa, when we just go, they will just administer antibiotics. So it started growing big. But thank God for Dr. SM. So when we got to know that this is a syndrome, it's a genetic disorder, we went and met him and we asked him what is the solution. And he said it's something that one can just manage. But for now, there is no cure for it. But there are cream. They don't use anyhow cream that will moisture their skin. And that when they rub it, it will be cooling their system. And they also advise there is a cooling jacket, which we don't have in the country. And if you needed it, you have to order it from abroad. So now starts attending Garki Hospital. From there, and we said, wow, this could be applied to other children. Since even in National Hospital, they were not even aware of it.
Oh, they were not even aware?
Yes. So now, what actually gave birth to the foundation when we went to National Hospital to do an implant for him, and they now told us that this boy is too small for him to put an artificial teeth on him, and we told them no, that there's a case in his own case, and we said he's having ectodermal dysplasia. All the medical personnel in National Hospital, to my greatest surprise, they don't know what is ectodermal dysplasia. They have to place a call to the medical director, which he snapped with my son on that very day, and that's really give me that concern that that means we need to do something to start giving people awareness on this particular ectodermal.
When was this?
I think it was 2018. 2018.
And the foundation started when?
It started immediately. Registered it that 2018, and 2019 we got an office of which we start the drive for the awareness.
Okay, Doctor, you have been the one, and also one of the field people.
Yes.
When you go to communities where people are not aware. I mean, we are talking medical personnel are not even aware of this.
Yes.
What do you do to make them know that this is not witchcraft attack and this is something medical?
Okay. So thank you so much for having me. Now, most of the times when we go to communities for campaign like this, there's already this mindset and myths that is built around their existence. I'm talking about those who has ectodermal dysplasia because of the way they look, and incidentally, most of them are intelligent. So imagine somebody of 80 years and is behaving like a 20 or 30-year-old person with the kind of IQ they have. So they ascribe that veneration to them that, no, this is an old person. So they don't want to connect with you on the medical line. Rather, they want to believe what the superstition that is attached to their existence. So when we go, most of the times, what helps us is the story that we get around. For example, once we hear this person's story, we could be able to use the same story to tell another person the story. So they have this connection to the point that they start believing, and so I am not alone in this. Most of them exist, they survive on their own, they depend on their survival instinct. Like the one of the person we met in Plateau State. He has lived for over 28 years without knowing anything about ectodermal dysplasia. All he knew is that he was born like this. And he survived it on his own and then things like that. So in giving them this information through our campaign, we ensure that we relate it based on the stories that we've gotten from different families and their caregivers.
With 176 types,
okay.
Are you beginning to almost feel like you also have to become an expert in medical?
Yes.
Because now doctors don't even know about it and you are having to let them know and let the public know. It seems you have to read a lot now.
Very well. It's a concern because if you look at it generally, you discover that even in the medical line, there's a lot of neglect on those areas. They don't really carry out research to know what that rare genetic disorder is, and then its expression. It expresses itself on over 170 types. We are just grappling with about 3 to 5 years that are around us, which is very common that we see. That's the one that Oche, the brand ambassador, has. So if you see them, you now quickly can diagnose that this person has ectodermal dysplasia. So it's a concern for us generally because we feel, okay, it's an opportunity for us to call on institution and organization to come in to provide timely information in research. That could be able to educate not just in the medical environment, but the general public, because as we began our advocacy, we discovered that there are quite a lot of these persons around. Recently, we discovered one in Kaduna. Not just one, we discovered about close to 5.
Wow.
Yes. And it's just by one campaign. Somebody see them and say, no, I know this person. He looks like another person. So there's a lot that we could just do. And once we carry out this research, it has a way of contending with the mortality rate because most parents don't know, like we said. So we experience this story like the woman we met recently in Kado Estate. She has had this mortality rate because she didn't know. She gave birth to a child and then she bathed the child with hot water. She couldn't manage it because she didn't know. So there's a lot of gap in that area. But we feel if it could just be breached, it will have a long way to go. So in our effort, we are trying to see how we could extend collaboration and partnership to other organizations that could give voice to what we are doing.
So you don't bathe the child with hot water?
Yeah, because like there's a case of a child that they met in Jos when the mother was give birth to him and she was bathing him with hot water. Literally, it peels all the skins of the child.
Peels?
Yes. And it was when we met them and we had to sensitize them on that aspect that you don't need to bathe him with hot water. And we now took the responsibility of taking care of their medical bills and introduced them to a doctor in Jude in Jos. And the cream and with that intervention, the child is becoming okay now. So in our own case, my own son too, you don't bet him. Even if the room you on the AC, you still off his clothes, still pour water on his body.
Wow.
No matter how cold the environment is.
No matter how cold the environment. Because I was going to say, the person in Plateau, that was my question.
Yes.
In Plateau, where the environment is cold, at least during the Hamatan.
It was only once I saw my son on Twitter when we traveled to Panshin during December time, and the weather was very, very cold. I can say it was like there's snow that day. That was when I saw him complain that he's feeling cold. No matter how the weather is, you never see him with his shirt.
Wow. So does this, if you were to move, let's say, relocate to a colder country, say Finland, Sweden, all those kinds of places, would that have helped?
Yeah. Even presently now, I'm making an arrangement for him to go and study secondary school in UK.
Yeah.
I'm making, because his two siblings are there, and I'm making an arrangement because I do feel for him always. Each time I see him pour water on himself, and he'll be complaining of his head because of the weather here. It do touches me. So I'm making that arrangement for him. Yes.
So this is a genetic ailment, right?
Yes.
Does it have a cure, first of all, before I come back to the issue of prevention?
No, medically now, when we met Dr. SM, he said it doesn't have a cure. But one can manage it. But research is ongoing. With time, they might come up with a solution that will really make the pores of their sweat gland open more.
I'll come back after the break. Yeah, we've been discussing ectodermal dysplasia. If you're watching this on YouTube, please thank you for keeping on with us, and do share this video. Subscribe to our channel if you do like what you see, because there are so many other contents. We'll be back after this break, and we'll talk about some of the things that can be done to prevent ectodermal dysplasia, and how the Oche Awodi Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasia gets its funding and resources, and what you can do to support.
The way you do me, I'm getting confused. Hi, my name is Zita, and you're watching Akweya TV.
This is Akweya TV. I encourage you to watch it. This is where you get to hear and know about the Akweya people.
Akweya TV.
Okay, welcome back from that break, and thank you so much for sharing. Those of you who just shared this video and who subscribed to our channel, we really appreciate. So we've been discussing ectodermal dysplasia, and we are with the CEO of the Oche Awodi Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasia. So how have you been funding this? I mean, you're not billionaire, you're not Dangote, and you are not only doing it for your child, but you are going in again to several communities doing this.
Yeah, I can say it's the help of God. Particularly now, I'm the only person trying to shoulder up the responsibility. From my little businesses I do, I set aside a percentage that I fund the NGO. But we are looking up to partners to partner with us to help us and see how we'll reach out to every child out there that have this same syndrome. But for now, we are the only persons sourcing for the fund, and we're funding it ourselves. We don't have any
other
support yet.
Dape, what kind of things are you doing? Are you like setting up schools or putting what infrastructure? Or is it that the kind of interventions you're doing?
Okay, the idea behind this foundation is to, first of all, based on our vision, is to become a beacon of hope for those people who have this ectodermal dysplasia. Now, apart from the clinical challenges they experience, there's this stigmatization they have. So most of them from childhood to adulthood, they grew with low self-esteem because of what they hear the environment says about them. So it affects their development, it affects them so much in different areas, especially their social life. So what we intend to do as an organization going forward is to see how we could build a community for them where they will understand themselves, and whatsoever that has to do with that environment will resonate to their personalities. And then give them the information they need so that they will feel so confident to go anywhere and face anything in life. So some of them, like we say, because of the inadequate of information about this rare genetic disorder, they may have explored other means in trying to see how they could cope with condition, because some of them, like I said, we meet them in a very sorry state, knowing fully well that you don't sweat. And then you live, let's say somebody that lives in Sokoto or Katsina in a very hot region, with those kind of situation, is kind of very, very impactful on their health. And then with that, once we meet them, there's what we call first connect. We make sure that we attend to the very issues that affect them like immediately. So in that first connect, if we meet you with that condition health-wise, we make sure we connect you with a facility that will help you, because some of them, it's not just their skin issue. They have nasal problem, they have air problem, they have eye problem. So it's a whole lot. So with that, we make sure that we provide those kind of intervention. Then talking about this kind of stigmatization they get, some of them, they don't go beyond secondary school because they don't have the adequate information to pull through, knowing fully well that this is what is wrong with me. So what we do basically is just to make sure that we take them back to school. Some of them that we will take them back to school and then educate the school environment and the people about what ectodermal dysplasia is. Then empower them with the resources that is necessary for their survival. If we do that, they live confidently afterwards. So we've seen that result working for us. Yes. So the intervention ranging from social life, their social life, and then the clinical part, and then their educational life. We carry all this one spontaneously depending on the need on that we meet on ground. Yes.
Wow. So Mr. Awodi, how do you feel, is this something that you can shoulder alone, or is it government? Should government come into this? Government has malaria, has COVID, has typhoid, and a lot of things.
Yes, because as it is now, we've gotten quite a number of them, and it's no longer easy for us. So we are crying to the government to see how they can come to our aid. We've written letters to some ministries also, and we are hoping with time they will come to our aid and support us while we champion this cause to see how we'll give these people a better future.
Is it so they should come with money, or are there other kinds of support that are possible?
Yeah, if they can provide the facility for us to make the advocacy easy for us, like Ministry of Health, we write to them, and willing to partner with us that anytime that we want to go on advocacy, when we let them know that we make an availability of their staffs for us to at least carry on that same
awareness.
Okay. So we are hoping that they will hear us.
Okay, great. Is this deadly? Does it lead to death? I mean, have you heard incidences where it led to mortality?
Yes. Somehow incidentally they have the normal lifespan.
Okay.
The normal human being once you detect it early. But in the case that you don't understand the complexity that surrounds it, it can kill you because of, for example, somebody who have a nasal situation, nasal issue can lead to infection, and it may affect it because of the connection that the nasal tract has with your brain and then stuff like that. So I think in this case, I will say that it will lead or it will not lead depending on the information that is available at your disposal, whether the person who has it or the caregiver. And that's one of the things that we are doing, to just let this information outside here. And like he said, if there's any time we need intervention, we need a partnership and collaboration, and any form of support is now, because we're getting to meet a lot of them. And then, trying to cater for their needs is a whole lot. Right now, we have a situation of some ladies that we are working towards their tooth planting. So, and you won't want to know the cost of doing one. So assuming we have 10 is a whole lot. So we need those kind of support, ranging from financial to platform like the one you are giving us now for advocacy, where we could let out information, because a lot of people don't know about this. And of course, people can come in as volunteers to provide what I would just want to be part of what you're doing, and then stuff like that. And you can come in form of collaboration. We could collaborate, we could partner, and then see how we could just do. But the most important thing is that there's a lot for us to do. And we don't really have the adequate resources to get that one done. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you. God bless you for the work you're doing.
Yes.
I don't know if there are, just as we wrap up, if there's any thing maybe we haven't touched that you just want to let the public know.
At least we've touched most of the area that we want the people to know about, and I want to use this medium also to still tell all Nigerians that in this course, we love every one of them to at least lend us their voice for us to champion this advocacy, and to make it easy to create awareness for every persons that have know someone, and connect us to people living with ectodermal dysplasia. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, like you said, it's important for us to say this, because what Oche Awodi Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasia is doing is a very holistic approach toward a person that is born with that syndrome. Now, it's not just affecting the person alone, it's affecting also the caregivers and the family. So we felt there should be a lot of campaign, robust campaign, against stigmatizing those people, because some families have them and they don't let them out. So we need to do those kind of campaign to let people know. I remember, maybe in closing, one of the situations we have in Plateau State, a woman has attempted killing her child 3 times. The last one was that she went to farm, and then she allowed him there, and she left him so that he could just die. And then when she returned home, 2 hours after that, the child now came back home. So she was so surprised, and that added to her mind that this child is a witch. If not, how can he trace himself back home? Now, why I'm saying this, because it's a survival story. He was a victim, but now he's living very happily.
very, very happily, because when we got connected, she told us all these stories. Now she's very proud of him. Anywhere she goes, she wants to go with him. We've taken care of his school, and then he's living very happy. And if you go to his school, it doesn't take position second or what, it's first. So, and he's well known. So by the time people get to know about this, it helps also the family of those person who has it, and also the person that has the syndrome as well.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate the work you're doing, and pray that, you know, better resources and support will come.
Thank you very much.
And for those of you at home who have been watching this, it's a rare disease, and you've seen all what the conversation is about. Google ectodermal dysplasia if you haven't read about it, and if the conversation here isn't enough. Also, there's Oche Awodi Foundation for Ectodermal Dysplasia.org. It's a long site, but if you Google Oche Awodi, Oche Awodi, yeah, or Ofed, yeah, okay, there, Ofed. So if you Google that, you can learn more about this, and then see the numbers where you can connect with them, an email address, and do the little you can. Awareness is key. This is not witchcraft. It's a syndrome. It's rare, but it's a syndrome that can be helped. Thank you so much for staying in touch with us. Our phone number 09044800200. You can reach us even on WhatsApp. And then on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere we are at Akweya TV. So you can find us and connect with us. If there's something also happening that you think we need to talk about that relates to history, art, culture, and development, do let us know. Thank you so much.